Hey guys, I'm back for another Monday. It always seems like these weeks go by so fast, but come on in. Welcome back to another episode of Sip with Joy. And if this is your first time joining, this is a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton. I'm a serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And speaking of today's wine, I am drinking an Albarino from Spain. I'm going to take me a good sip here. So, if you've been following me for a while, you may know that I actually studied abroad in Spain. I lived there for a year when I was in college. So Spain is near and dear to my heart. This is where I first started learning about wine. And so Albarino is one of my early choices, or not early choices, but one of my early learnings when I lived in Spain. So, love this wine. Can't wait to tell you guys about it on Sip of the Day. So, make sure you're following at Sip with Joy on Instagram so you can find out all about the wines that I'm actually drinking. Hey, Jess Lee. Yes, you deserve God's best too. Oh, you're so sweet. So, yes, Albarino from Spain. And, when I think about Spain, I think about it being one of the absolute happiest times of my life. I absolutely loved it. I lived there for a year. When I was in college, I was living my best life to the point where I got back to the States and I was like, I don't want American food. I was like in Spain, and my parents were like, listen, you're not in Spain anymore, so go sit down somewhere. Hey, Keisha. So, I love this wine. I actually have another wine next week that's from Spain, too. So I'm on my Spain kick right now. It's a bit nostalgic. So, speaking of happy times, so today's episode is called I Deserve Better. And you do too. So it's not just me, but after a series of like recent events and conversations with friends, it made me pause and reflect on why we continue to deal with shenanigans. Whether it's in relationships, both personally and professionally. I was talking to a friend not too long ago, and she likes this guy, and she knows that this man is not good for her, and he's even in a relationship, but she, cannot seem to shake him, and we always want what's not good for us. I don't know why we do this. We want the bad boy, or we want somebody that's just continuing to treat us badly or poorly. Like, why do we do this to ourselves? And I'm like, girl, you deserve better. And just like she felt like he has a lot of qualities that make him an outstanding guy, well, you do too. So I think we just have to remind ourselves a lot of the times of what we bring to the table as well. And hopefully you feel like you bring a lot to the table. So some things I want to highlight tonight is just trusting your intuition, setting boundaries, stop giving people benefit of the doubt, especially when they don't deserve it, manifesting what you want, and operating in your alignment. And I'm not; these are going to be out of order, but these are just some things I want to talk about. So if you in here, drop a hello in the chat. I want to see you guys in here. I see you in here. You're lurking. I see you. So go ahead and say hello. So anyway, when I'm talking about these things, again, this can apply to friendships, personal and professional relationships. So as I'm talking to you all, I'm definitely talking to myself because I need constant reminders as well that I deserve better, because I do. So what really prompted this topic, outside of prior conversations, as I was saying before, is that, hey, Nicole from Florida, is that I had to I had to take a step back because I need to make sure that I take better care of joy and my emotional well-being. And I can't say I've been doing the best job at that because I'm a giver, and that means I attract a lot of takers, which most givers do. But I'm also the type of person who always puts others first and gives them the benefit of the doubt, like I was just talking about, when it wasn't necessarily deserved. So what I have done, I've started setting boundaries, and you all have heard me talking about this a lot, but I've started setting boundaries and surrounding myself with people who reciprocate the same level of effort and energy as me. Because a lot of times we don't do that. We have people that will literally suck us dry, and then we're mad. Like, we can only be mad at ourselves for allowing that behavior. So thinking about who you're surrounding yourself with, are there things in your life that are draining you? Thinking about all of that. And then next is just not making excuses for people. I have definitely had friendships where I'm like, oh, well, we've known each other for so long. That's just who she is. Or even with guys that I've met, I've made excuses for their poor behavior, knowing damn well that they were not good for me, but I was making excuses for their poor behavior and treating them as isolated incidents instead of seeing them for who they really are. So, like the quote by Maya Angelou, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And that is the truth. People will say exactly who they are, but we always want to find the good in people. And not everybody is bad, but you just have to see people for who they are. Hey, Tina. And so yeah, I appreciate you too. But yeah, so we definitely, again, have to see people for who they are. So, we've talked about intuition before. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but does anybody else want to kick themselves when they don't listen to their intuition? Definitely me. I'm raising my hand every single time. I want to kick myself because I really have to do better, y'all. Like, I really be out here not listening to my intuition. And then I'm mad at myself every time. And my intuition is strong as hell. But again, it goes back to that benefit of the doubt. I want to see the good in people. I really want to believe that you are just a good person and maybe you're just having a bad moment. But again, it's who people really are. So, sometimes that benefit of the doubt takes over, and then, yeah, I'm kicking myself in the butt. Keisha said, girl, can you please get out my street? Right. So I mentioned, manifesting what you want and operating in your alignment. And these two, they go hand in hand. But this really boils down to the law of attraction. So I don't know if anybody practices the law of attraction, but it's a real thing. You say what you want and it will be so. It's basically the idea of the law of attraction. You have to put out there what you want, and then that's what you'll get back. If you putting out ugly, you're going to get back ugly. So I'm a work in progress when it comes to this. I do my gratitude exercises every day. I write a list of the things that I want, things I want to manifest. But the biggest part of attracting what you want is believing it will happen, which means that you have to have positive thoughts. So that's the struggle for me because I don't always have positive thoughts. I walk out and I'm like, oh, I really want to, sometimes you just want to get in somebody's head, get in somebody's behind. You want to tell them about themselves, and you're like, and so I just have to stop myself. Joy, positive thoughts. So what I have started doing is that with every negative thought, I challenge, and y'all heard me say challenge because this is a challenge for me because not all thoughts are good thoughts. But I challenge myself to center it or to counter it with a positive one. And then, center myself, okay? So, ask, believe, and receive, all right, is the name of the game. And don't compromise what you want and need because that's when we go back to kicking ourselves in our own behind. Tina said, trying to see the good in people. Downfall. I wonder why that is. I think my dad tells me all the time, Joy, everybody's not like you. Everybody does not operate the same way that you do. And so you can't expect people to behave the way you would. But I think it just comes, from upbringing. Like you want to see the good in people. But again, people are who they are. And so I know for me, like I have been in some relationships where I'm like, wow, I really was holding on to the good in this person. And I should not have been. And then again, y'all, what I say, kicking myself in my own ass. So, again, don't compromise what you need. And I have this is a mantra that I have pinned in my notes. I have put it on my mirror. Ask, believe, receive. Okay, ask, believe, receive. To try to make all of this work together with the universe, whether you pray to a God or whatever. But me and God have conversations, and then me and the universe, we have conversations as well. So, but put it out there what you want. So yeah, when we are not operating in our alignment, we can end up accepting less than we deserve, because this is all about us deserving better in our relationships, or even jobs that don't fulfill us. Think about the times where your world is just in chaos. Jobs not aligned, your house is looking crazy, your kids acting crazy, your dog acting crazy. Everything is just in chaos. And then when things start to kind of start falling into place, then, you're obviously in a much better state, but not everything is going to be 100% in alignment. I have this conversation with Lydia all the time. Like, you could have a great job, great man, but your house might be looking a mess. But, something's always going to give just a little bit, even if it's not necessarily a lot. And so we have to get in alignment with the things that are most important for us. So you have to prioritize those things. Right now, for me, love is at the top. Career, there are some things that I'm shifting in my career, things that I'm not happy about. When I started my business, for example, I had, 3 categories I saved. Or not saved, but I work with, my consulting business. And then that shifted over time. So things constantly shift as I grow as a person. I have evolved, and I have decided what makes me happy and what doesn't make me happy, and those things have to go. So you're constantly shifting. And that's just a part of life. Let's see. Tina said, that's the key. Never, ever compromise what you need. I love it. Thanks for that. You're welcome. So yeah, don't compromise, because every time we do it, we end up, again, we're mad at ourselves. But you also have to be clear about what you truly want. So that is a big thing. Okay. Sometimes we still out here trying to figure out what we want to be when we grow up. I know I still am sometimes, but I do believe that I know what I want in the areas of love, career. I have so many interests, guys. Like, I could be a voiceover artist tomorrow. I could be a news anchor tomorrow. I really have a lot of interests. But I'm like, okay, God, just show me what you want me to do so that I can sit down somewhere, because I'm doing too much. Y'all be seeing me. I'm all over the place. But we all deserve better. But we must set higher standards for ourselves. I have this, I talked about dating over 40, and people think that just because you're older that you have to start lowering your standards. No, actually, my standards are higher, because I've been through some things, and I know exactly what I do and do not want to deal with at this stage in life. So no, actually, my standards are higher, because I do deserve better. And no, actually, I deserve the best. That's part 2 to that whole sentence. But I feel like, why settle? There's no reason to settle. It may take you longer, and that requires a lot of patience, but why settle? I'm not settling for anything or anyone that's in friendships, in work, in relationships. I just don't feel like I should have to, because I don't give people less than, so why should I deserve less than? Why not? Okay, let's see. Okay. So, anyway, but you also have to, again, manifest what you want. Put it out there. Pray about it. Put it out there in the universe. But you have to love yourself first. And I've learned, that I have to be happy with myself, or by myself. Because sometimes, you are afraid to be alone when you've gotten out of another relationship. I just had this conversation. I don't know if I was talking to a guy about this. I said, men, they jump from one relationship to the next. Whereas women, we generally take time to heal before we jump into another situation. Now, I'm not saying that all women do that, because some women, jump into the next situation unhealed as well and bring that baggage. But I think that when you're not healed, you're taking that baggage and you don't know how to be alone. And then when you are alone, it's just complete chaos. And then you wreaking havoc on everybody else's life, because that trickles over. The misery that you have in your own self, that trickles over into other areas of your life. So we have to be okay with being alone. And alone does not mean lonely. There's a big difference, because people always say, well, aren't you lonely? No, I'm actually not lonely. I'm actually quite okay in my space. But I told God, I said, listen, sis is going to get comfortable being alone too much. So you need to send someone quickly. Send my mate now. But what did I say earlier? I have to be patient, guys, because the Lord knows the struggle is real, and trying to be patient. Patience is not one of my strong suits. Hey, Mila. Yes, she said, keep those standards high, girl. Live your very best life in peace. Yes. Mila is out here trying to find me somebody else. She's the matchmaker. Mila, you still working on my behalf. So yeah, but don't settle. Just don't settle, guys. And you have to be comfortable in your own skin before you can even decide how you can do better or what does better mean for you. And so, again, I might get comfortable being alone, so I'm just asking God to kind of bump me up on the list real quick. But figure out what you want, and that's just what it is. I know this is a quick episode, y'all, but the last few episodes have been long. But I think for me, this is it was just on my heart, my mind, my body to have this conversation, because I think that we just get complacent. We start tolerating things that we shouldn't. And, just again, like I said earlier, just because you're older doesn't mean that you have to lower your standards. I think that's when you should increase your standards, if anything. And so for me, I am trusting my intuition. I'm manifesting what I want. I am setting boundaries. What else did I say I was going to do? I'm not giving people the benefit of the doubt who don't deserve it, because y'all, I'm telling you, I'm a sap, okay? I am a sap, and Lydia gets on me all the time. She's like, Joy, stop overthinking, stop expecting, certain things out of these men, because you just have to just go with the process. And if you know this person is not going to be someone that's going to be long term, well, then treat them as such, just like men do us. We have to get in a different state of mind when it comes to dating, especially when you're dating at an older age. That's just the reality. So I think that we have to shift our mindset as well. When we had Greg Davis on, he was talking about that. Like, women are guilty of going into a situation thinking about the future and, oh my God, I want to, I could see myself having babies with this man. Ooh, we could, we have a cute little family and do all these things. We have to stop doing that. Now, granted, if you think those things, keep it to yourself. Don't share it with the man. Get to know that person. And if they're not who you want, move on. Because again, you deserve better. And just because somebody looks good on paper doesn't mean that they're going to be a keeper. They might wreak havoc on your life. I've been in some situations like that before too, where it has been all good on paper, and people are so obsessed with the idea of a power couple. No, if this man's going to bring hell to my life, I don't want it. So for me, I'm just like, yeah, it's time to put joy first. So I choose joy, and you guys should choose you. And holla at your girl next week. I'm about to get off of here, drink my Albarino, have an early night. And Nicole said, this applies to work for me exactly. High standards, no compromise. I deserve better. Yes. And remember, ask, believe, and receive. Okay? I think this is the shortest episode that I've ever done, but I feel like I said what I needed to say. All right, guys. I love you so much. We'll be back with a guest next week. And make sure you guys DM me. Let me know topics that you want to hear. And, I love engaging with you all. So I will see you guys back here next week, and take care of yourselves. Bye.